What's up guys, Stefan, S&E's Garage. In today's video, we are going to be flushing the brake system on our 2016 Lexus GS-F. So this car is equipped with BREMBO brake calipers. We have 6-piston calipers in the front, and we have 4-piston calipers back here. Now these are fixed calipers, there are no slide pins, so there is quite a bit more brake fluid in these than there would be on a floating caliper with say 1 or 2 pistons. So we went ahead and purchased a ton here, this is like a gallon of BREMBO .4 brake fluid. Now this car came from the factory with .3 in it. .4 is going to be an upgrade. .4 has a higher boiling point, so you can get the brakes hotter before you experience brake fade, but it also has a negative where it is more hygroscopic than .3, meaning it's going to draw moisture out of the atmosphere at a faster rate than .3 would. So if you do switch to .4, just keep in mind you're probably going to want to replace it a little bit more often than you would .3. Just to keep that moisture out of the system because it can cause problems. So you're going to need a couple of things to do this job. You're going to need, first and foremost, some brake fluid. You're going to need some brake clean to clean up any mess that you make. You're going to need a brake bleeding kit. We went with this Mighty Vac kit. I wanted to buy like an air one that I could use with my compressor, but then I realized not everybody's going to have a compressor. And I wanted to do this video to where anybody can do it, so we went ahead and purchased that. And then we have this guy here. I picked this up on Amazon. I actually bought all of this stuff on Amazon, so I am going to leave links to it in the video description below. But this is an automatic master cylinder filler. So what this will allow us to do, we can fill this up, stick it in the master cylinder, and this is going to prevent us from running the master cylinder dry, because if you run that dry, you're going to have to bleed everything all over again, and it's not going to be a fun time. So on this particular car, and any car really, your master cylinder is going to be wherever your driver's seat is, because that's where your brake booster and your braking system is going to be, wherever the pedal is. So there is our master cylinder and our brake reservoir. So we're going to go ahead, open that up. Now the first thing that I like to do is I suck all of the brake fluid that I can out of the master cylinder, and then I fill it up with fresh fluid. And the reason we do that is that's going to make your job at the individual wheels go much faster, because otherwise you're going to have to flush a ton out of the first wheel you do, which is going to be the furthest from the master, which is going to be the passenger rear. You basically have to flush enough to empty that reservoir and then start getting fresh fluid to the lines. So if we empty it, fill it back up, there's already fresh fluid there, and all we have to worry about is getting it through the line and out of the caliper. All right, so we're going to go ahead and set our Mighty Vac here up for bleeding. First, we're going to check it. We're just going to put our finger here, and you'll see that it's building vacuum, which is good. So there should be 2 lengths of hose here, which there are. Okay, so we're going to put the first length here on the end of this guy. Like so. Okay, we're going to open this up. We're going to stick our 7th length, or our 2nd length here. It says to pump, so we're going to go ahead and put this cap there going to the pump. Okay, we're going to take our 2nd length and put it on this end, and our bottle here will then screw right onto this. And again, we're just going to go ahead, put our finger here, and we have vacuum. So now we can go ahead, over to the car and suck down the master cylinder. You just want to make sure that you leave this facing up like this. Otherwise, you can potentially have brake fluid getting into the pump and causing problems. Now, do bear in mind, brake fluid is very corrosive, so do not get it on any painted surfaces. But we are going to go ahead, like I said, remove this cap here. And now there is a little strainer that is in the master cylinder. It's like a fluid strainer. We are just going to go ahead and get a little, like a pocket screwdriver, and go ahead and pull that out. There we have it. There's a little strainer. We're gonna go ahead and put that aside along with the cap. Now we can go ahead and grab our pump. We're going to stick our hose here as deep into the master cylinder as we can and start pumping. Okay, and as we get closer to filling this bottle up, we're gonna stop. I have to go ahead and drain this, and then we'll start back up. All right, guys, now we got our master cylinder just about dry here. So now we're gonna go ahead and remove this pump. I'm gonna go ahead and empty this bottle one more time, and then we're gonna stick our strainer back in and fill the master back up with some fresh fluid. All right, so we got our master cylinder bottle here all situated. Master cylinder is full, and now as we are draining brake fluid out of the system, this is going to automatically replenish it so that we do not run the master dry. So let's go ahead, set our quick checks up under the car, get it up in the air, and then we're going to go to each individual wheel and start bleeding. All right, guys, so you're going to need a 10mm wrench. We're using a line wrench back here to get to this bleeder, and we also went ahead and selected the correct attachment here that will go on the end of our bleeder cap. So now we're just gonna go ahead, crack this loose. Okay, and then we're gonna start sucking. Now, I actually found that it works better to just connect the hose directly to the bleeder versus using the adapter, because I'm actually getting more brake fluid out of it this way. The only problem here is you're not gonna have a complete seal around the bleeder where it screws in to the caliper. So it's gonna look like there's air in the system, but there's actually not. All right, guys, we got this side done. We're basically gonna go ahead now and repeat this process on all 4 wheels. All right, guys, we just finished on this driver's rear. We went ahead and we did 2 bottles full of the Mighty Vac here. That's what I did on the other side too, just 2 of these. So now we're gonna come over here on the passenger front, because that is the next one that is furthest away from the master, being that we did those 2. Now what you will see here is we did end up having to refill our refiller because we used all of that fluid here. So we're gonna go ahead, reinstall that back onto the master cylinder. And like I said, we're gonna move over here. I'll do 2 bottles worth driver's side, 2 bottles worth, and then we're done. All right, so on our front brakes, our bleeder is going to be right here. Again, it is a 10mm, and we are going to do the same thing. Crack them open, put the pump on there, squeeze the trigger. We'll do another, again, maybe I'll do 3 bottles in the front just because of how big these calipers are, but that's basically what we're gonna do. And then we're gonna go ahead and move over to the driver's side. All right, guys, we just finished that side, and that is going to be it. You'll see we ran a little bit under a half a gallon through this thing. So I'm confident that we got nice, clean .4 brake fluid in the master cylinder, the ABS pump, all of the lines, and then into the calipers. In the front, we did 3 of the little bottles from the breather kit. In the rear, we did 2 because the calipers are a bit smaller. So now you're just gonna go ahead, top off your master cylinder, make sure it is at the maximum mark or wherever it was when you did the service, because you don't want to overfill it. And then you're just gonna come check your brake pedal, make sure it's still nice and hard, which ours is. Check for leaks, make sure your bleeders aren't leaking. And then at that point, you can go ahead, hop in your car, take a ride. Just make sure you do go ahead and recycle your brake fluid, bring it to your nearest waste oil recycle center, whether that's at your town or Advanced Auto Parts, AutoZone, places like that. But if this video helped you flush the Brembo brakes on your Lexus or whatever else that you own that has Brembo brakes that this video will cover. And I will also leave a link down below for the brake bleeder kit and the master cylinder refiller. So please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.